welcome to this week's edition of Total Technique TV, where we bring you news and information about the beautiful game of football, or soccer as we call it here in the States. With me today is Peter Hayden, the co-host of the show. Peter is a former professional player in England. He's currently the technical director of the Bay Oak Soccer Club and a terrific soccer trainer. And so welcome, Peter.
Thanks, Kevin. As you know, each show we have a different theme, and last time's theme was World Cup. And it's all exciting. We'll certainly keep you updated on how things are happening with that tournament. However, this week's theme is muscle memory, psychomotor skills. So let's jump into this week's theme.
Each week on Total Technique TV, we bring you new and interesting information on the training area of soccer. This week we're talking about muscle memory and what it brings to and how important it is for players to develop it in the sport of soccer. So let's toss it over to Peter for this week's technique.
Thanks, Kevin. So, muscle memory or psychomotor skills. What are these things? Well, muscle memory is what our body does when it remembers to do things. So when we walk, our body's got to remember how to walk. When we're babies, when we're small beings, we have to learn how to do things. We're not born with our hard drive programmed. We've got to learn how to do it. How does that transfer into sports? How does it transfer into soccer or tennis? Well, in soccer, every time we strike the ball, we've got to remember how to strike it correctly. Our brain sends impulses to the muscles. The muscles then fire, and then we can execute whatever skill it is. When we head the ball, what's involved? Well, we need to see the ball, so our brain's firing towards our eyes. We need to throw our body towards the ball to head it. All these things are vitally important for us to remember how to do these things. It's all about repetition. The more times we do things, the better we're going to become at it. We must remember, as we are running, we get better at running through practicing more running. If we're going to head the ball, we will become better at it the more times we do it. If we're striking the ball, we get better at it the more times we do it. If we strike a soccer ball 1,000 times, we'll become 1,000 times better than when we first started. It's very, very important that we remember that repetition is the key to all this. If you practice those hours, it will pay back dividends, not only with striking a ball, heading a ball, but we also need to play the game. The more times we're in these situations, difficult situations, we've got to make decisions. If we haven't programmed our hard drivers how to get out of these situations, we're not going to make good decisions. So the bottom line is soccer is all about repetitive practice in an environment where we can actually execute that skill in a game environment. That's where the skill part comes in. We need to do the skill time and time again so that our body is then being wired up hard drive so we can do it in an instant without having to think about it. Soccer's a different game to the likes of tennis and golf, where you can spend time looking at the golf ball and setting yourself. In the penalty box, you're going to strike a soccer ball and there's probably going to be 2 or 3 people who are converging on you to stop you scoring that goal. You've got to be confident in your own ability through hours of practice and hours of doing the repetitive motion that you can execute the skill and either head that ball into the goal or strike that ball into the goal before the defender or the goalkeeper comes across to intercept you. And that's the difference between a lot of team sports and individual sports. And that's why practice is absolutely critical. It may not make perfect, but it will always make permanent.
So Peter, if you could talk a little bit about what are some of the typical ways that soccer trainers work on developing muscle memory with players in soccer?
Well, Kevin, for first touch technique, a lot of the coaches use what we call vitamin drills. That is one person serving a ball to another player where they can use every controlling surface from the inside of the foot, laces, thighs, chest and head. That really fires up the muscle memory. Our muscles and bodies remember how to control that ball at that particular time. So there's a brief overview on muscle memory and psychomotor skills and how they affect you as a player or your teammates. But we're really interested in what you, the viewer, do to enhance your psychomotor skills and muscle memory. Have you any drills or tips, techniques, vitamins, anything that will help your players become more technically proficient? We're really interested. Please go to Total Technique TV and share your thoughts. We're interested in hearing what you've got to say.
That's right. We really encourage you to give us your comments and your feedback. And remember, at every show here at Total Technique TV, we will be drawing a random drawing from those comments and giving out a free soccer ball. We all need another soccer ball in our collection. So Thanks for joining us today on Total Technique TV, and we'll see you next time.